In DC Comics, there are so many powerful heroes in the Justice League, so the Flash is relatively underpowered in that sense. He's more of a supporting character in the movie than a major player. He has his own drama, but it's hard for him to be the main character when there are so many powerful heroes like Superman. So this time he's getting his own movie. It's different because it's just the Flash, but I wonder if it's going to be interesting. What's more interesting is that it's my last DC Comics movie. The last time The Flash was rebooted into the DC universe. James Gunn took the helm, and this movie was also at the center of controversy because the main character, Ezra Miller, had all kinds of incidents and accidents. As soon as the movie started, I knew it was going to be good, and I was really impressed with the opening sequence. But honestly, it was the music that got me into the movie very quickly, because there was a very familiar old pop song that I immediately started humming. Barry stops by his usual shop, but the woman who usually takes his order isn't there. And there's a man, so they set him up with what he's used to, but the man has to explain everything to him. Then Alfred Jeremy Irons, Batman's butler, tells him to go to the hospital building where he is now, and since the other heroes are busy, he's the only one there. The Flash grumbles and turns to leave, but someone calls out. Flashman, the adolescent kids can't help but recognize and love it. He's excited and talks to his friends. He's so hungry, he needs the energy to get out there. What this episode reminded me of was that the movie wasn't going to be serious. I'd forgotten, but I remembered that the other heroes were mostly serious, but the Flash was always full of humor. And he was the lifeblood of the show, and it's the same in this movie, and it's a shame that the later it gets, the more serious it gets, and there's very little humor. I was wondering what the movie would be about, and it was a multiverse. The world we live in is one of many universes. Someone just like me lives somewhere. He's like me, but different. We don't know each other's existence, but some of us feel it. Marvel has incorporated these worlds, and it's a bit of a challenge. It can be fun when done right, but when done wrong, it can be distracting and complicated. Luckily, The Flash isn't that complicated and we didn't make it that way. It's weird to watch if there's too many characters, or if there's a multiverse here and there, so in that sense, The Flash has a very simple worldview. Barry's mom dies when he's a kid. There's a trial related to this, where his dad is accused of killing her. Barry knows he never did, but maybe because it happened when he was a kid, he can't testify properly. His mom stabbed him to death after he asked his dad to pick up some tomato sauce at the grocery store, and that doesn't happen in the family Barry knows. For Barry, his mom is dead and his dad is currently on trial for her wrongful murder. He's never loved by his mom, and his dad's in jail, and he needs the security footage to prove that his dad went to the grocery store. He's so frustrated that he turns into the Flash and he runs fast. And he runs against time, because speed is related to time, and he realizes that he can go back in time, and he's determined. All you have to do is change one thing, and it wouldn't have happened if Dad hadn't gone to buy tomato sauce, and Mom had gone to the grocery store in the morning and bought tomato sauce. And that's it, so you do it, and you're back in the present. And an unknown entity comes along and pushes Flash back, and you end up in an unknown time period, where Mom and Dad were living together. And they have a nice little meal, and they're having fun and happiness, and they meet Barry from that time, and he gives them Flash powers. Then he actually loses his powers, and that's when the movie really gets going, and it's a pretty big twist on what we know. First, we have Michael Keaton as the first Batman, the Batman. We knew, and he's retired because it's a peaceful Gotham City, and unexpectedly, Zod comes from Clifton and tries to destroy the planet. Superman doesn't show up to stop Zod, and it's not Superman, it's Supergirl, so it's a little bit different from the world we know. In a way, it makes it more fun for people who have seen DC Comics movies before. I don't know, but I don't think it's going to affect anything. In the movie, the Flash has more powers than I thought he did. He can travel through space. In the multiverse, They always say you can't touch the past, because what happens next is completely unpredictable. If we always go back to the past, there's something we want to change. We live our lives in a straight line. Even if you want to go back to the past, it's impossible. There are moments or events that you really want to go back to, but it's better if you can't. What's always the same is that what's going to happen will happen, and it's always for the worse. The movie is all good, but when it comes to the action, it's stilted. When there's action, there's still a definite win-win. Here, we show the win-win, but not the resolution. Even if you don't need it for the flow, you have to have an ending. I enjoyed watching it even though the running time was quite long.